Down on Branscombe, all of the tourists, all of the people are over there, so it's a case of finding a safe spot. And what is a safe spot on a beach? Well, I'm a large, fairly capable adult male, so my risk of harm from attack is minimal. So in my mind there's two risks: the sea and the cliffs. I'll send the drone up, I'll show you the tide line. I'm going to be above the tide line, and these cliffs are very movable. They're constantly moving, they're so precarious. So I'm going to pick a spot that is shielded from any major rockfall if one was to occur from the top, the big cliffs, and at a point that in my assessment is unlikely to shift on the lower tier. So that's how I'm going to keep myself safe. The only other risk is I'm going to have a fire tonight, and I don't know if you guys know, but these pebbles, these little badgers here, when they're near a fire, it's non-porous rock, so the air inside here, trapped millions and millions of years ago, gets hot, expands, has nowhere to go, and this little thing suddenly becomes 50 raging, flying, supersonic shards of death. I've never been hurt by one, but I've had dry robes ruined, tents ruined, windbreaks. So what I'm going to do to mitigate that risk is, we've got a whole bunch of porous rocks here. The air trapped in here will be able to get out. I'm going to remove the non-porous rocks. Oh, there's a tiny little crab. And not eradicate the risk, but just minimize the risk. We might get a few pops and a few fizzles, but the non-porous rocks are going to absorb the vast majority of the heat. This is where the fire is going to go. These will warm up, radiate. It's going to be a beautiful fire. So I've collected some firewood and I've chosen my spot. You can see over there where I was. Fairly recent, very precarious. There is a massive set of cliffs up here, but behind that there's a small valley. So my hope would be, if there was any rockfall, that valley would scoop it all up and protect me down here. Sidmouth, Seaton, this area, the Jurasic Coast, the cliffs are falling away at an unprecedented rate. So let's get the tent set up, get the fire lit, get the Prosecco open, and just enjoy the solitude. And I'll give you those tips on pitching a tent in this sort of ground. You might be able to see I just scooped out a nice flat area here, because we are on a little bit of a slant, but I want to be led nice and flat when I'm sleeping. So I've just made myself a little trough. I've got my special pegs ready. I shall show you those in a minute. I've already decided I want my door looking out to sea. Let's get the birdhouse set up. Now I can see this one here, it's not quite right. And I don't normally, but I will today, put my other guide ropes in. Just because this terrain is so loose. These are the pegs, 30 centimetre and 25 centimetre. I've gone for the 30s tonight because this terrain does not like to hold pegs. So these are from Go Outdoors. I think it was £6 for 10, £6 for 5, something like that. Really, really good for sand and this. And of course, once my weight's in it, it'll be fine anyway. But it's not a freestanding tent, so without the pegs holding, it is going to collapse on me. We're not due heavy winds tonight, it's going to be fine. Okay, it's time to get the fire going. My wife got me a lovely little present. It looks like a taser, but it's not. I've never been to this beach before. I didn't bring any firewood. I've got a good pile now. I've got some kindling. I didn't bring any tinder or anything like that. I've got some very small dry sticks, and I'm having tinned food tonight. So just a little tip that I use. I'm going to peel the paper off of there and off my soup. And that's going to be my ignition system this evening. Okay, let's get this lit. Going to get right to the bottom to my smallest pieces of wood. Well, that went quite well. I did have a backup. I found some of this, like an old crate or something. Really good tinder. I'll put that in the pack to save that for another time. Just using sticks about that and a little bit bigger at the moment. Just put these ones around the edge just to dry them out. I'm just going to have a nice comforting companion fire, not a roaring great see me for miles fire. And there is a time and place for one of those, just not tonight. Let that get set, and I think I'll go and cook some tea. So parsnip and bacon soup, a bread roll, a tin of rice pudding, a glass of Prosecco, a fire, the sea, a flock of seagulls flying overhead. That is all I need. You don't need expensive adventure meals. If you can't afford them, that I can't at the moment, then this is going to do absolutely fine. I want to conserve my firewood, so I've got this whopping great piece of wood. It's about 4.5 foot long. I'm just going to burn it in the middle. Same with this piece. So later on, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 good-sized logs, just to keep the fire burning, keep that cold at bay. I've got my tin of rice pudding. I'm just going to put a tiny little hole in either side so the air can escape and there's not a build-up of pressure. And I'm not going to bother washing this pan to put this in and have bacon and parsnip flavoured rice pudding, so I'm just going to put this close enough to the fire to warm it through slowly while I eat my soup, so when I crack the lid fully I can just eat the rice pudding straight out of there. I'll be honest with you, parsnip and bacon soup isn't one I'll buy again, but it'll do for tonight. Well, it could be 3 in the morning, but it's not. It is in fact 7:20. There isn't a person in sight, a person in earshot. I can see a couple of lights in the distance. This is solitude and it's beautiful. Awesome night. Good night. If you want to see more locations for paddleboarding, camping, hiking, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.